despite the amazing work that a lot of us are doing in this area, there's many people working in this area, there's just so much to do, isn't it? And it seems sometimes, doesn't it, like you just described the interviews with these women, despite the harrowing accounts, and some of them may have gone through the criminal justice route, some may have not, but the abuse continues to happen. It's so pervasive. Even if the perpetrator is long out their lives, the long-term impact, health and psychological impact is just phenomenal, isn't it?
Absolutely, and the organisations that are there trying to help these women are crawling around and fighting for a very small pot of funding. And so for them, their jobs are never permanent. You know, they're competing almost with one another. And since 2010, 1 in 6 women's refuges have shut due to austerity, which meant a large percentage of women who actually then eventually flee, which is one of the hardest things for women to have to do, are turned away from hostels and refuges. With children is often the only place to go then is to go back to the abuser. So we're actually helping that cycle of abuse.
And we know, don't we, that that point in which they decide to leave, and you're saying they're forced almost to go back, is the most dangerous time for them, because that's when the perpetrator is most likely to act on that loss of control.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously by interviewing women who were currently in refuges and had only been in there maybe a week, maybe longer, were very vocal in talking about being stalked, being trying to be found over social media, the threats to kill that were coming from their ex-partner, off extended family, etc. These were women whose were in terror, really, almost waiting to be found or waiting to be moved out of the area, being put in a place that they had no idea where they were or where the local services were, which leaves them again even more vulnerable.
I mean, even in terms of, so you're talking about the support around domestic violence, as if you want to label it as that. I know it's intersectioned, isn't it, in the different forms of abuse expressed, but I don't know if you saw, there's a petition going around at the minute in terms of rape crisis. A victim, a survivor of sexual violence came forward and said, you know, despite the amazing help received and individuals receive from rape crisis, the government funding they're getting is so small and so little, minimal. There's rape crisis centres across the UK now that are having to close their doors effectively and turn women away at their most vulnerable point. It's called rape crisis, isn't it? So they're in crisis, and they're simply, how difficult must that be for those individuals working in those organisations, those NGOs, having to say to someone that they went into that profession to try and help them, support them, and saying, we just don't have capacity. The idea that there's not funding for these organisations and NGOs is just unbelievable.
It is, I absolutely agree. And I think that's part of our work, isn't it, as Non in 3, in trying to gain support from stakeholders and those organisations, but for us to do that for them and to bring together our voices in an effort to try and bring about change.
Absolutely, yeah.